Hi, I'm Krista, and today we'll be making khachapuri. Khachapuri is a dish that originates from our Georgian neighbors, but you find it all over Armenia, mostly as street food. It's a delicious, ooey, gooey, cheesy, crunchy, pizza-like dish that everyone is sure to enjoy. So let's get started. There's actually several different types of khachapuri throughout Georgia and the Caucasus region. The one we're making today is called Ajarian or Ajaruli. It's a boat-shaped khachapuri with cheese, butter, and egg yolk in the middle. So first we're gonna start by combining all of our ingredients in our standing mixer. We have our flour. We have a little bit of sugar, activated dry yeast, instant, kosher salt, and we have a bit of olive oil. Go ahead and lock that in and let that sort of start to come together. And then we're slowly gonna drizzle in a little bit of water. If you don't have a standing mixer, you can still make this dough. You can do it by hand. You slowly incorporate dry ingredients into the wet ingredients, and then you just continue kneading it for about 10 minutes. So it is a little more labor intensive, which is why we like to use a standing mixer, but it's totally doable and no reason why you can't try it at home. So we're gonna transfer this dough now into a large, lightly oiled bowl. And we wanna make sure we have a really nice big bowl because the dough is gonna rise and it's gonna double in size, and we wanna make sure that the bowl is big enough to hold all of our dough once it's doubled. So just using a rubber spatula, you're gonna transfer a nice ball here. And you can use plastic wrap, but I prefer not to waste plastic. So we're just gonna use a nice plate that fits right on top of the bowl, set it aside in a warm place so that it can rise for about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on the temperature in your house. So traditionally we would use lori cheese for this recipe, which is a salty, creamy, sharp flavor profile, a brined Armenian cheese, but sometimes that can be a little bit difficult to find. So we're gonna do this with a blend of mozzarella cheese, feta cheese, and ricotta cheese. So all we're gonna do is combine these cheeses in a large mixing bowl. All we have to do is fold it together with a rubber spatula to incorporate the cheeses evenly. Once the cheese is fully incorporated, we're gonna just let this rest in the fridge while our dough continues to rise. So while our dough has been rising, we've preheated our oven to 475 degrees Fahrenheit with the pizza stone inside the oven. If you don't have a pizza stone, it's totally fine. You can use the back side of a baking sheet. It works just the same. Before we roll out our dough, we want to make sure that we flour the surface of our counter. Also, make sure that the surface of your counter is very dry and very, very clean. Our dough has doubled in size, and now it's time to roll it out. So we're gonna go ahead and divide this dough into two. You can divide it into four if you'd like, but I prefer a really big khachapuri. Try to get them as equally sized as possible. And then flour your rolling pin. And we're gonna add a tiny bit of flour on top of the dough. Set that aside and start with this one. So we're looking for about 12 inches in diameter. You can try stretching it out with your hands if you feel comfortable. You just put fists underneath the dough and you very gently stretch and spin. Otherwise, just keep rolling it out with your rolling pin. That's totally fine. So once we're done rolling out both pieces of dough, we're going to transfer the dough onto our pizza peel, and we're going to form the khachapuri directly on the pizza peel so it can go straight into the oven. So if you don't have a pizza peel at home, it's totally fine. You can use a large spatula or even a very thin cutting board. Now that we have our dough on our pizza peel, we're gonna grab the cheese mixture out of the refrigerator and we're gonna fill the center of each boat with a little bit of cheese. Just line it down into the center. You wanna be careful not to put too much cheese though, because then when you go to transfer your khachapuri to your pizza stone, it could get stuck. You can save that and make boreg with it later. Next step is to fold the khachapuri dough. Start by grabbing the ends or the edges and tightly roll, and repeat from the other side. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna twist and tear off any excess dough and pinch the edges to hold the two sides of the dough together. You're trying to form a little football shape like you see here. Just like that. Now it's time to transfer the khachapuri from the pizza peel onto the pizza stone directly inside of the oven. Bake for about 2 to 4 minutes and then brush with a little bit of egg wash. Egg wash is just 2 very lightly beaten eggs. It's time to pull the khachapuri out of the oven. We're gonna transfer it back onto the pizza peel and then onto our cutting board. We're gonna go ahead and add 1 egg yolk on top, 1 tablespoon of butter. We wanna do this while the cheese is still very hot because that's what's gonna cook the egg yolk through all the way. You could also drop a whole egg on top and pop it back in the oven, but I prefer this way. Then you can garnish with a little bit of Aleppo pepper for a little extra kick. The proper way to eat khachapuri is to tear off the end here and use that to mix the egg and the cheese and the butter together. Just look at that ooey gooey goodness. There you have it, ooey gooey, cheesy, delicious khachapuri. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel below. We'll see you next time.